A little bit different view today. We're in here in Gaylesville, Alabama, and in the background you can hear Coach Knapp's working out some of the guys. It never stops here. You guys are not got a lot of numbers out here, Coach, but the guys you got, y'all working them out 24/7. That's what Coach Knapp's doing now, so you're going to sit in with us. Coach, last week you took on Ragland. You knew going into that game they got a ton of team speed. They got some guys that can really go. You guys fought your guts out, come up a little bit short, but just take us back to last Friday night.
Hats off to Ragland. They're a really good football team. They're very well coached on defense, and what they do on offense fits them. They had great field position because of their team speed. Every time we kicked it off to them, they were able to get some ground. But I want to say we had 4 turnovers. So it don't really matter who you play when you have 4 turnovers. That's going to put you behind in the game, but.
Your turnovers will kill you.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
When you guys seen Ragland on film, what were y'all seeing? Because every team I've talked to this year that's played against them, they said they got 2 or 3 guys that's as fast as anybody in the state, pretty much.
100%. Their running back is really good. Number 0, I believe his last name's Lane. He's a fantastic football player. When he gets in space, it's you see their coaches put his hands up because it's coming. Ragland, I thought they did a really good job. Their starting quarterback all year broke his hand against Appalachian, and so he came in and played kind of sniff for him some, played receiver for him, and they had their backup quarterback came in, and he did a fantastic job of throwing the ball and spreading the ball out when they asked him to. So,
what was your message to the team after the game?
Just keep fighting. We have 10 juniors that are playing, and we had 1 senior, and that was our senior night. And so we wanted to remind them that the next 2 games against Woodville and Notasulga, we're focusing on sending him out on a positive note. But we're also playing for next year. We're getting ready. We're looking, trying to get people in the positions that they're going to be. There's some 9th graders that have been playing all year for us. We're getting them ready, for them to see how they're going to be next year.
The bulk of your team's underclassmen, ain't they?
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Didn't want to cut you off, but
that was it. Just getting them ready for the next year. This team has fought really hard all year, and we've come up short a couple of times, and so we don't want them to forget what that's like. Because there's a little bit of pain in that if you really truly care.
Oh, yeah.
So reminding them that this pain that they're going through right now, it can pay off next year if you do what it takes in the weight room, at practice, and finish this year out.
No, it makes sense. And the fact that, these guys are going to put it on the line and try to get your senior out of here on a positive note. What the guys don't realize, and it never hit me till later on, is their hourglass is running out too for those juniors. They don't know it. I thought that day would never come.
Right.
I remember my senior year at senior night, I was sitting there, and until I gave like the roses to my mom or whatever, it kind of hit me right then. I was like, whoa. It's just the first time it hit me.
And that's what Coach Knapp told them, when we have senior night, we have a tradition where the seniors go out there, just like every other senior night, but we take the rest of the team when we bring them in here, and we make them look each other in the eyes, and we tell them, this is your team next year. And he looked at the juniors, and he told them, when the clock runs out against Notasulga, you are a senior football player, and it's time to act like it. So I think that's really good for them to have that reminder and to know what's coming.
Yeah, no doubt. Because, that's everything. Leadership's everything.
Right.
You can preach and coach the paint off the walls if they don't accept it. And it usually has to be the leaders of the team, which is usually your upperclassmen, especially your seniors. It ain't ever gonna work.
Yes, sir.
This week, it don't get any easier. You're playing Woodville, and they seem to have one of the bigger turnarounds in the state. They're not that they were a bad team, but they've looked like a different football team this year. I'm sure you've seen the same thing on film.
They're really good. They're probably, I think the most complete team we've seen all year was obviously Appalachian. but they're definitely number 2. Woodville's a really good football team. They have a great quarterback. He is very explosive, the running back is. They've got good receivers. They have kids that play downhill on defense. Their inside linebacker is really good, number 44. So, I mean, they've got kids all over the place. When you watch them on film, sometimes you can see a player where you say, all right, this is the player that we need to attack, or this is a player that doesn't really scare us on offense. They don't have that. I mean, across the board, all 11 they put out on the field, it's like
they can play.
They can go. Yeah. So it's going to be difficult.
You know, I got you're going to laugh at this. It's funny. I was doing the call-in show from the Southern Torch 2 years ago. We called it the Final Drive, and it's basically it's kind of like QSB type thing, but except we filmed it live and streamed it. And I was sitting there talking, and this guy called in. He said, "Hey, Mr. Average Joe," and I was like, "Yes, sir." He goes, "I love what y'all are doing, man. You really do a good job, but you kind of bothering me on pronunciation of our football team there." And I said, "What team is that?" He said, "Well, you keep calling it Woodville." He said, "It ain't Woodville, it's Woodville." Woodville. And I said, "You have to run that by me again." I didn't understand what he was saying.
Right.
I didn't, and then I thought it was a joke. Mm-hmm. And he said, "It's pronounced Woodville." And I was like, "Woodville?" And he's like, "Woodville." And I said, "Well, from this day forth, I'm going to be calling it Woodville." And he said, "If you do that, you're A-OK in our book." And he said, "That's what we call it up here on the mountain. We don't call it Woodville. It's Woodville." Yeah. So I said, so from that day forward, I said, "Well, the guy corrected me. From now on, it's Woodville." So I got corrected on that. So I thought you'd get a kick out of that. He was serious. And we ended up hanging up the phone. We go to commercial break. Well, there's a guy up there named Brian Anderson. Mm-hmm. He runs the radio station up there that we're at, and he's like a DJ, been doing it 35 years, whatever. He's from that area, in that area up there. And I said, "Man, that guy, that had to be a prank." He said, "Nope." He said, "Buddy," he said, "No, it's not a prank." He said, "That guy's probably had the community call in and tell you that."
Really?
Oh yeah. He said they take it serious, like it's Woodville. And I said, "Well, I learned something new today." So from now on, if you hear me refer to them as Woodville. So anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Okay. And Coach, before we shut it down, I always like to kick it back to you for final thoughts.
I'm just thankful. God has blessed me to be able to do this as a career. I've enjoyed it, and I'm always thankful for people who spotlight kids. Gaylesville being where it's at, it doesn't always get the spotlight. So I think what you do is a great opportunity for us to, be able to talk about some of our kids, because we've got great kids here. We've got hardworking kids. So just because we're small, don't mean that we don't deserve the recognition that everybody else gets. So I'm thankful for y'all.
Well, man, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And you're in the right spot doing the right thing. So anytime you get that combination, it's a good thing.
I appreciate it.
And as we go off the air, we can hear Coach Brian Knapp putting in the work behind us.
Yeah.
Talk to you later, Coach.
See you.